The boot. Once upon a time, a young man came to the judge and said that he wanted to divorce the woman he had been married to for a year. The judge began to dissuade him.
Young man, why do you want to divorce? It will be for the worse for you.
No, it will only be better for me.
The man argued. They began to argue, but in the end the judge asked.
Listen, your wife is so beautiful and friendly, everyone knows about her virtues, and everyone dreams of having a woman like her. Why do you want to leave her?
Then young man took off his shoes and placed his boot right in front of the judge's eyes.
Why are you sticking your boots in my nose?
The judge wondered.
You see, sir, this is a wonderful shoe. Everyone can see how beautifully it is decorated and how well it fits on my foot. But only I know how tight it is.
Be patient, young man,
the judge said.
It won't be long before this shoe starts to break in.
The end. Wow! The power of horses. Once upon a time, a duke was traveling in a luxurious carriage drawn by 6 pedigree horses. Suddenly, the carriage got stuck in a mire, and no matter how hard the driver whipped the horses, they could not move. Meanwhile, a poor peasant was traveling alongside the rich man. Despite the fact that his cart was pulled by only 2 horses, he passed through the mire without difficulty. Deeply amazed, the rich man asked,
How did you do it? 6 of my pedigree horses got stuck, and your 2 commoners rode out easily. Where does the power of your animals lie?
You see,
the peasant replied,
your horses, though powerful by themselves, belong to different breeds, so they have no connection with each other. Each one thinks he is better than the others and pulls wherever he wants. You whip one, and the other one is only glad. My horses, on the other hand, are simple and of the same suit. They are a mare and her stallion. So if you show the whip to one of them, the other one will immediately rush to help.
The end. Wow! A hole in the bottom. A man invited a craftsman to paint his boat. However, during the work, the craftsman noticed a hole in the bottom and decided to immediately patch it up before continuing with the painting. When everything was ready, the owner thanked the craftsman, paid him, and went back to his daily routine. The next day he ran to the boatman and handed him another bag of gold.
Thank you for the repair,
the man said and bowed.
But yesterday I already received my wages.
The master was surprised.
Yes, yesterday I paid you for the painting.
The guest explained.
And today I am paying you for the patching of the hole.
Oh, it was a trifle.
The boatman smiled.
It took me neither time nor effort. I had no idea to ask for money for such a small thing.
This little thing, as you say, saved my children's lives.
The man breathed out.
I completely forgot about the hole and plunged into everyday chores, and meanwhile my kids took the boat and went out to sea. I was desperate, I thought they were dead. And then these boys came back safe and sound, and I realized that it was only because of you.
The end. Justice is possible. A beggar, wandering through the market, found a leather money basket. When he looked inside, he saw 100 gold coins. But at the same moment he heard a merchant shouting nearby.
Attention! A reward! A reward awaits the one who finds my leather money pocket.
The beggar was a very honest man, so he immediately went to the merchant and gave him what he had found.
Here is your sack.
He said.
May I have my reward, please?
Reward?
The merchant chuckled slyly as he counted the money.
In the money bin I lost was 200 gold coins. So you stole more than the possible reward. Go away! Or I'll call the guards!
I am an honest man.
The beggar answered.
So we shall go to the judge to settle the matter.
After patiently listening to both men, the judge proclaimed.
I believe you both. But a fair trial is possible. Merchant, you said that the purse you lost contained 200 coins of gold. Yet the purse found by this beggar contained only 100 coins. So this is not the thing you lost.
With these words, the judge held out the leather purse along with the money to the beggar. The end. Just one watermelon. In one city, there lived a very poor elderly shoemaker. One day, the king heard about his wisdom and decided to visit him.
What will we treat our guest with?
Shoemaker asked his wife.
We have nothing but the last of our watermelon.
She answered.
All right. Bring what you have and do as I say,
replied the shoemaker. So when the king came, the woman brought out the watermelon. The man took it in his hands, touched it, turned it around, and then gave it back to his wife with the words.
We have a better watermelon. Bring it to us.
The woman obediently took the watermelon, and a short time later brought it out again. The man looked at it carefully the second time, even knocked on it, and then ordered his wife to bring an even better one. The woman took the watermelon away again to bring it back soon. Finally, the man expressed his satisfaction and, after cutting the watermelon into slices, began to treat the king. After the conversation was over, the king returned to the palace, happy and satisfied. He was so pleased with the hospitality of the old shoemaker. The king never knew that there was only one watermelon in the old man's house. The end. Smart tailor. Once a wealthy but greedy lady ordered a dress from a famous tailor. When she asked him how much the dress would cost, she cried out,
You charge too much for your clothes.
Do I? I don't think so at all.
The tailor replied,
It is too much, believe me.
The customer insisted,
Think about it. My dress requires 2 meters of fabric, right?
Yes.
The tailor nodded.
Well, if we add the cost of the fabric, the cost of thread, needles, and even the scissors that will be used to cut it, we will get half the amount of yours. So I have to pay you half the price.
The tailor was silent for a while and then said,
All right, you have convinced me. I am willing to charge you only half the price. If you insist, of course.
Yes, yes, I insist.
The lady rejoiced.
It's a deal. I'll take the necessary measurements now, and in a week your order will be sent to you.
For a whole week, the woman bragged to her friends about how cheaply she managed to order a dress from the most famous tailor. And at the appointed time, a messenger came to her with a package. Having solemnly torn the package, the woman pulled out 2 meters of fabric, 2 spools of thread, needles and scissors. She ran to the master and confronted him, really furious.
How dare you to trick me?
No one deceived you, madam.
He said.
I have packed everything you have listed. If there is something missing, perhaps you just forgot to pay for it?
The end. 3 gifts. A certain woman had 3 sons. As they grew up, they became very wealthy and moved into their own homes, while their elderly mother remained alone in a small hut. Deciding to give his mother a gift, the eldest son bought her a palace with servants, the middle son ordered a luxurious carriage with horses, and the youngest son said,
I will surpass you both. You have no idea that our mother loves the most to read the holy books. But she's old and her eyes are a little blind, so I found this wonderful parrot for her. He can recite the holy books from beginning to end without even stuttering, because he was trained by 12 wise men for 12 years.
The brothers agreed that the parrot would indeed be of great benefit to their mother, and after a while they visited her and asked her,
How do you like our gifts? Did they make your life easier?
Smiling gently, the woman addressed her eldest son first.
Thank you, my dear, for such a beautiful gift, but why do I need a palace with 40 rooms? I'm sitting in just 1 room anyway.
Then she turned her gaze to her middle son.
And thank you, dear. The carriage and the horses are wonderful. But where am I going to go? For me, a walk in the garden is a long journey.
And she said to the younger one,
But you, my son, have pleased me. You guessed what your mom needs most. The soup from the chicken you sent me was incredibly tasty.
The end. A simple jug. A certain man was very wise and educated, but he was ugly in appearance. Nevertheless, his intelligence earned him the respect of the emperor himself. One day, when he visited the palace, the wise man ran into the daughter of the ruler, and she began to mock and ridicule him.
Oh, my dear, such a brilliant mind in such a poor shell.
However, the wise man was not discouraged and asked,
Tell me, Princess, in what kind of jars does your father keep his wine?
In ceramic jars, of course.
The girl answered,
Because everyone keeps wine in such jars.
Is that so?
The sage snapped.
Only commoners keep this drink in such poor vessels. Royal wines should be kept in more expensive vessels.
The princess was upset and immediately ordered her servants to pour all the wine into golden jugs. But soon she was surprised to find that all the wine had turned sour. So, when she met the wise man the next time, the princess was outraged.
What stupid advice you gave me! Do you know what happened to our best wine? It turned sour.
On the other hand, you have proven for yourself that wine is better preserved in simple, clumsy vessels.
The wise man smiled.
The same applies to wisdom and knowledge.
The end. 2 Kings. Once upon a time, a king sent a messenger on an errand to his friend, the ruler of neighboring lands. The messenger was late, so when he flew into the hall, he blurted out in a breathless voice,
"My lord ordered me to tell you to give him a white horse with a black tail. And if you do not give him such a horse, then..."
But the king interrupted his confused speech.
"Tell your lord that I do not have such a horse, and if I did, then..."
These words terrified the messenger. He rushed out of the palace like a man on fire, jumped on his horse, and rode back to his master to tell him about his neighbor's insolent response. Naturally, the king was enraged by the message, and he declared war on his neighbor. It was a long and exhausting war that cost both countries a great deal of money, much blood was shed on both sides, and many lands were devastated. In the end, having emptied their treasuries and exhausted their armies, the kings decided to conclude a peace agreement and discuss mutual accusations. When they met for negotiations, the second king asked the first,
"What exactly did you mean when you said, 'Give me a white horse with a black tail, and if you don't, then..."
"Send me a horse of a different color. That's it. And what did you want to say with your answer, 'I don't have such a horse, and if I did, then..'"
the first king asked.
"I would certainly give it to my good neighbor. That's all,"
he replied. The end. The Greediest. A greedy man heard that there was a man even greedier than he was. Curious, he decided to seek out the person to see what he was like. On a dark night, the man arrived at the right house and saw through the window that the owner, having tightened the wick of a kerosene lamp, was counting his daily income, while writing something down and crossing it out. His calculations were missing 1 penny, and he was trying to remember where he had spent the money. So, having seen enough, the visitor knocked on the door. The owner opened the door, invited him in, and then went back to counting. Then the guest asked,
"Why did you screw the wick on so tightly?"
"To prevent burning too much kerosene,"
the owner explained. Amazed at his greed, the visitor pulled down his pants and sat down on the bench. Time passed, the sun rose, and the owner never stopped counting his income and expenses. When he looked up for a moment, he noticed that his guest was sitting without pants.
"Why did you pull down your pants?"
he wondered.
"To save them from wearing out,"
the guest explained.
"Wow, you're greedier than me,"
the owner muttered.
"I at least saved the kerosene in the lamp, and you're afraid to sit down again to avoid wearing out your pants."
The end. Politeness is above all. Once a Jewish rabbi and his wife were working in the garden. Suddenly, his shovel bumped into something, and an old bottle sealed with sealing wax appeared from the ground. The rabbi opened it, and out came Genie.
"Oh, how grateful I am to you!"
The genie cried out.
"I have been in this bottle for 1,000 years. So demand whatever you want from me. I have sworn that I will serve whoever lets me out for the rest of his life."
"Get back in the bottle,"
the rabbi ordered. The genie obeyed, and then the rabbi resealed the bottle and attached a stone to it. When he got to the sea, he threw his found object as far away as possible so that no one would find it.
Why did you do that?
The woman snapped at him.
The genie could have fulfilled all our wishes. We would have become rich.
First of all,
The rabbi replied,
what kind of genie is this that hasn't been able to get out of the bottle in 1,000 years? Second, he promised to serve me for the rest of my life. What if it occurs to him that I have been living for too long? And thirdly, and most importantly, he didn't introduce himself, and politeness should be above everything else.
The end. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like and comment the video. Thank you very much.